right, let's take a look at another game going on Sunday. Boy, this is the marquee game of the weekend. Green Bay at Denver. We got some very good weather in Denver, even though this is a night game around 50 degrees. No winds. The early money is on Green Bay, pushing them from 1 to roughly 3 and 46. No problems at all with this Green Bay offense and quarterback Aaron Rodgers, 15 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and also, surprisingly, the number one defense in the NFL, Green Bay is, when it comes to points allowed, under Don Capers, just 16.8 points per game. They win games, they cover games, 4-0 ATS on the road. They come off a bye for this one. They're 23-9-1 against the spread against a winning team. So, however, when you look at this game, which one of these teams do you think runs the table?
Well, I think I'm the one that made the line go from 1 to 3. I mean, I just got up there, and about 8 minutes later, they had all my money on Green Bay, and it went from 1.5 to 2 to 2.5 to 3. I'm telling you right now, I am not a Denver fan. I love their defense, but I just don't understand how they got to be 6-0. Last week against Cleveland, my gosh, Manning had 3 picks. They were 4 of 18 on third down. Elway, he sits there and wants more rushing. They're number 30 in rushing. I don't know what they're going to do. Manning's had 12 sacks, and here you got Green Bay 15-6 against the spread run. I like that. And Rodgers just picks you apart. I don't know. Is there some status on Lacey? Is he injured or something? I saw something across the board the other day. But you know what? I'm not even going to try to figure this game out. I'm just playing Green Bay, and I just went up there and I just bet until they said no more. So I'm on Green Bay all the way. I laid 2, 2.5, 3, whatever the number was. Took it all.
Well, there's no problem with Aaron Rodgers' number, but it's difficult to figure out what's going on with Peyton Manning, age 39 years old, 7 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. When you look at some of their wins, their unbeaten wins, they beat the Ravens by 6 points. They won at Kansas City, but it was a late comeback. We win by 7. They beat Minnesota by 3 points. Won at Oakland by 6 points. And in the game against Cleveland, you mentioned, coming off their bye, they were terrible in that game with 3 picks. So, Zach, these Denver Broncos more lucky than good?
No, I don't believe so. I think they're definitely getting opportunity plays on their side with the defense, pick sixes, a lot of different things like that. But the offense is doing just enough. In the first part of the season, or we're still in the first part of the season, getting towards the midway point, but early portion of the season, it was Peyton Manning carrying the team. He did it against Kansas City, did it in a couple games because they had no running game. Against Detroit, he did it again. But the game against Cleveland, they actually started running the football with Ronnie Hillman, who's been a better running back than C.J. Anderson, so I think they can lean on him a little bit more than C.J. Anderson. Peyton Manning, as we get into November, who knows how his arm's going to hold up, but I think coming off a bye, he's going to have enough rest with that arm to give it a good go. This will probably be the last game that I back Denver up until I see something else from the Denver Broncos and Peyton Manning, but I think coming off a bye, he'll have just enough rest in his arm, his neck. The usual aches you have from a veteran that he'll be able to play well in this game. He's played decent all season. He's definitely not a top 12 quarterback anymore, but he's right there about in the middle of the pack. And he's smart enough to play at home against a Green Bay team that's been playing above their capabilities, especially on the defensive side of the football. I think he can pick apart that secondary. And Aaron Rodgers, you talk about a quarterback that has a lot of burden on his shoulders. There's probably not a quarterback in the league that does as much as Aaron Rodgers. Phenomenal at home, but you're seeing him making just as many mistakes the past couple of weeks as Peyton Manning has. It just hasn't been profiled as much. I think he's made some mistakes against the 49ers, made some mistakes against the Rams, and he made some mistakes against the Chargers, and they were able to get away with it in those games. But I think here this Denver defense will continue to rise with their backs against the wall against the top quarterback in the NFL and Aaron Rodgers to be able to control that running game, and that's where you're going to have to see these young playmaking receivers, just like we've seen other teams struggle with it with Dallas, and Sunday Night Football with the Philadelphia Eagles. These teams with these young receivers are struggling against these top-notch defenses, and I think this will be the week that Green Bay mistakes happen with Aaron Rodgers and those young receivers back the Denver Broncos.
All right, the home team is 5-1 against the spread when they meet, although Green Bay has been a cover machine in so many venues, home and away. So I will take a look at the total, kind of a low total for two ace or marquee quarterbacks. Sure, one of them past their prime, but Aaron Rodgers certainly still in his prime. And I have some concerns about this Denver defense. I don't think they're as good as they've looked, simply because they haven't played any very good quarterbacks. And then this will be easily the best offense they've faced all year. And Denver, when they're also, both teams actually coming off the bye week. When Denver faces a team with a winning road record like this, 13-4 over the total. And when they face a winning team overall, just 32-12 over the total. That's the way I'm going to look at this game. Low total here, maybe a 30-20. Final score of 28-23.